Hey y'all, back with another war video. This is War 2 against New Nation. Played them many times, always a good one. We are back with Blade again, we are back with Havok again, and this is the first time I've ever brought my new rank 2 Omega Sentinel to war. So we're going to start off with Blade against Spot here. This is the only Blade fight. It's going to be very simple, right? It's a dimensional being on a path fight. Yes, he's tactic. It is not going to matter. Now, even even though I'm comfortable with Blade, I don't know why, I'm a little bit more used to just sitting there and taking my time with the bleeds. I should have been doing, those little 1-2 hit combos into block earlier. That's fine. That just means that this fight is over in, what is this, 24 seconds instead of 20? Yeah. Blade versus Spot is always going to be pretty simple. Really easy there. Just make sure that you have the tactic up before you do anything that is not either into stun or a special attack. We move on to Bishop here. In some ways, Omega Sentinel is not really a great counter to Bishop, but as long as you avoid her second medium and all of her special attacks, she doesn't give him prowess, and she has one of the highest attack ratings in the game, so it's fine. We did go ahead and invuln here because our plan is to just not deal with the special 2 at all. We should be fine blocking it, but between aggro prowess, it's just, I generally consider this fight is safer to just push all the way to the special 3 because it will do no damage. You don't have to worry about block pen or anything like that. And here's the special 3. I think I forgot to say it, but obviously at this point in the fight I did switch my masteries over to a recoil tree build. Not so much for this fight, although it does help here in just getting this done before we eat too many special 3s, although clearly we only needed to eat 1, so it doesn't even really matter here. But this is more in preparation for the fact that I have 2 more Omega Sentinel fights after this, and I'm just trying to get the most out of her possible because she does scale quite well with them. So there we go, we did see 1 special 2 on top of the special 3. That's fine, a little bit of block damage. Move on to the second Omega Sentinel fight, which is going to be against Negasonic Teenage Warhead here. The important thing about this fight is just understanding the heavy counter. We're not going to crit that often. We don't really have to worry that much about her evade coming around a lot, but it is going to come around some, because we don't have any power drain or lock or any of those abilities here. We don't have any evade counters. It will start on cooldown, so we can, get right into it, but we are going to periodically need to knock her down. And while we could do that with specials, if we did all of that with specials, then not only would we take more recoil damage, but we would also be doing less damage, because that would also be us throwing specials into Make a Stand's protection up. So we're not going to do that. We're going to find our places for heavy counters. As you can see from that first one, here I'll go for another. It's just 1 dash back, wait for her to finish it, don't try to interrupt it, and then heavy attack. Very simple. We are also going to go straight to the special 3 here, because that's going to put a bunch of plasmas on her, boosted with our recoil tree extra attack, and that's going to end the fight because her health pool already isn't that big. You can see she's below half before we even get to 3 bars. We throw this with protection down. It does an okay amount of damage, and then the plasmas are just going to cook her. I think we probably need to throw 1 more heavy after this to keep protection off so the fight's over, but it's going to be very simple. See, here we just, okay, never mind. We didn't have another heavy. We didn't even have time to do a light combo ender to pause. It was just over. That's what Omega Sentinel's good at. So I definitely would prefer to not have the recoil tree on for this Havok versus Attuma fight. I am going to take some damage throughout. I'm not going to be happy about it. But I also have a rank 3 Havok, and I was confident enough in this fight. I didn't think it was worth the swap cost back and forth to make this 4 swaps in a single war as opposed to 2. Those of you who swap more often, feel free to judge me. I don't care. Anyway, so we do have recoil running here. We took some bleed damage. Not ideal. We are taking some running poison damage because obviously our opponent is running Despair. That's pretty much always the case. That right there, I don't know why I did that. I should have heavy attacked after my relic. Really no reason not to, because we wouldn't be doing a ton of damage with only 2 plasmas on the opponent, but we'd be doing some. And it would be, you know, instead of him net healing during that little dance we just did, which I also can't really answer for, he would have been taking some damage. And that might have meant that this special 3 finished him. Now here's a dumb little early dex. That's fine. That was totally strategic. That wasn't me getting hit like a moron. That was just me getting the last little bit of power I needed for the second special 3. Sure. Anyway, Attuma down. Very good fight for Havok. We'll heal him up later. That's exactly what I was planning there. I wasn't planning to get hit, but everything else. Anyway, we move on to Sinister here. Good placement, because there aren't really a lot of robots who can handle this. We do have an Odin pre-fight placed for us. That is going to mean that we can hit freely, pretty freely, into the shock phase. We're still going to hurt for it, right? Because Omega Sentinel, like all other robots, does not have access to willpower. And so Mr. Sinister being here, where you want to use a robot, and therefore don't have access to willpower, and won't be immune to shock, and you know that people are going to be sending Odin pre-fights, even the shock is going to add up too. You have no willpower making up for it, and the Incinerates definitely hurt. I shouldn't have even hit the few times I did at the start of this fight. I was honestly dumb. I should have just stuck to my parries, played it close. Now that the shocks are up, we can go a little bit more ham. Make sure that we get our heal block up. We just know the heal block is going to fall off basically every Incinerate phase, and so then he's going to heal a little bit at the start of each shock phase. It is what it is. Technically, we could try and line this up perfectly so that we baited out a bar of power, had him at 0, waited on Aggro Prowess, threw a special 2, got a bunch of plasmas because of all the prowess, but didn't push him over a bar, so he wouldn't be able to get rid of them with his special 1, but then we also wouldn't be able to pause them, and so I just personally don't think that that was worth going for, so we throw the special 3 here. Works better with recoil anyway. Yeah, he is going to immediately throw these plasmas. It doesn't matter. If I had been a little bit more optimally efficient, we probably would have just sat there and blocked hits, pushed him to the special 2. The concussion doesn't hurt us because of our immunity to ability accuracy reduction against mutants, so it wouldn't have done anything. And then we would have let those plasmas cook for a little bit longer. Fight would have been over now, honestly. That would have been a little bit more optimal, like I said. But you can also see this is our last Omega Sentinel fight, and Sinister's going down. This was clearly the right thing to send. Here we go, special 2, because we're not going to worry about recoil. Fight's over. So yeah, a couple things that you can improve on there, especially if you are punching up with a smaller Omega Sentinel against a similar Sinister, or in the future, if we have 7-star Sinisters. Something to keep in mind, but for that particular case, wasn't too big a deal. Now here we have an Onslaught boss. This was really spooky last season, right? Onslaught wasn't tactic, but it kind of didn't matter because the extra attack rating from Overwhelming Odds on the boss node just made him absolutely miserable. One of the few wars I had that really made me wish I was doing war videos last season, I had an awfully pretty Hulkling boss solo of a rank 3 Onslaught. Didn't get hit at all. I think I blocked once. It was nice. But I still took, I think, like 40% of my health because of how much attack he had. Thankfully, that is gone. Now, it still stinks if, like I just did there, you use somebody like Havok, and you accidentally slow down your combo and let yourself get parried right at the start of the fight so you lose all willpower. That's unfortunate. But we're going to be okay. It's particularly unfortunate because, just to call out the strategy specifically with Havok, I am going to intentionally block the last 2 hits of every single special one. And that would hurt a lot more if overwhelming odds were still here. And I would be a lot less chill about taking this fight with Havok. That's the whole reason for that long spiel that I gave earlier. But because it's gone, we can safely block the last hit of the special one. We can get those neuros on us. We can land those plasmas. We can throw our specials. Ideally, we also want to use our striker to land a heavy. Like I said, I should have done against Attuma, because then we can start cooking some extra damage. Or this can happen. That was definitely my least favorite part of the fight, even above getting parried. Thought I sidestepped into throwing the striker, and he just decided, nope, I'm going to stand over here and charge heavy right as you come out of it. I don't know if I had time to respond, honestly, or if there was a lag spike, or if I was just that shocked. I really can't tell you. Either way, wasn't ready for that heavy attack after the striker whiffed. And I don't say whiffed like the game messed up. I say whiffed as in it did not make contact, right? I should have baited a heavy, then thrown the striker, then gotten my heavy in. None of that would have happened. Would have been a bit better off. We are still winning the HP race, right? Now, I also want to call out, you don't want to get too comfortable just barely winning the HP race because of adaptive. We are doing a bit less damage to him every time we throw Special 2, every time our plasmas detonate. You have to clock that. We'd be doing a lot better if we had had willpower through all of this. We'd be doing better if I hadn't eaten that heavy out of nowhere. And so this fight is fine. We have like double his HP ratio. But I do just want to call that out. You don't want to get too comfy. Because just notice the fact that we are still running power backs, right? Like, we are boosted as high as we can possibly go. These special 2s aren't giving us a lot back. Now, I'm also sure our opponent is running an equity maxed, so we do have to call out that, like, I was planning to have those magnetisms on me. That was supposed to be giving me willpower. That was the price I was willing to pay for an equity. The 2 daunted debuffs on top of that being another 12% reduction in my attack. Significantly less chill about those. It is slowing us down, just to call that out. But again, we are still, trending positive. We're going to be fine. He has 10% left. We're still at 40. I don't like being below 50 in a boss fight, but when the opponent is this low, not the end of the world. Here we go. Here's another special 2. I don't think this kills. Yeah, if it had crit, it would have, but there's that energy resist. And there we go. One more detonation, and he's down. Not the most elegant boss fight in the world, but I also think probably a good one to learn from. So, good that I was recording all of it. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Like I said last time, I'm having a blast with this tactic. I really like the characters in it, both the ones that are actually in the tactic and the ones on my roster that I'm finding myself using outside the tactic because of what it's doing to the map. So far, I'm having fun. We also did win both this one and our first war. Always feels great to start the season off 2-0. Plenty of things we still have to clean up and learn, but it's feeling pretty good. I'm hopeful about this season, and glad I'm back to making war videos. Anyway, again, hope y'all enjoyed this, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, and take care.